Okay, so as we roll on today's show, um, so one of the shows that just wrapped up a few months ago, and one of the most popular shows was The Last of Us. And by episode 2 or 3, we knew that there was going to be a second season. And anybody who is a avid, avid Last of Us fan, I love the show. I love the games. But anybody who's played the games knows that this is one of the most recognizable, acclaimed, critically acclaimed video games of all time. And all you have to do, and this is just a small portion, okay? Fundamentally compelling, a profound, harrowing sequel, 10 out of 10, masterpiece, one of the most beautiful games this console generation, this game's greatest game of this generation, one of the generation's best games, looks incredible. I mean, over 300 accolades and awards, winning game of the year, sweeping it, you know. So it's always cool when you know that something is coming. And it may be delayed, obviously, because of the strike. And we are going to get to that, I promise, at the end of the show or near the end of the show. This looks unbelievable. And especially when you have the bosses and the writers coming and saying, we're going to do this right. And so this comes from Deadline. Actually, Destiny Jackson, who I follow on Twitter and speak with quite a bit. Congratulations, Destiny. This is an amazing, amazing piece. And I'm really honored and happy to bring this to everybody um, on the show today. So great job. And I'll also message you on Twitter about it. By the way, guys, she is on Twitter. So if you want to go, say hello and good job with this, go hit her up. Um, so the headline reads, "The Last of Us TV bosses on quote moving the bar up for season 2." Award-winning writers and directors NeilDruckman and Craig Mazan joined the Deadline FYC, or For Your Consideration, House event on Friday to discuss their HBO record-breaking drama The Last of Us. Based on the video game series co-created by Drunkman, the television series takes place 2 decades after modern civilization collapsed from exposure to a deadly mutatable fungus. The story follows a hardened survivor named Joel, who's played by Pedro Pascal, and we have some big news about him coming up. Hired to smuggle Ellie, played by Bella Ramsey, a 14-year-old girl, out of an oppressive quarantine zone in hopes of uncovering the mystery and potentially a cure for humanity behind her immunity. Since the show's January debut, The Last of Us continued to set records for both HBO and HBO Max. For the first 4 weeks, its audience grew consecutively larger, amassing after first after first amassing 4.7 million viewers just from its premiere alone, making it the largest same-day debut after House of the Dragon. In gathering a staggering 8.2 million same-day viewers for the season finale, The Last of Us also holds the current title of attaining the largest same-day audience. Not to mention, it has become the most watched show in history on HBO Max in Latin America and Europe. On the red carpet, Drunken reflected on the aftermath of the first season's successful run. "My life has been insane. I don't know how I ended up here," he said. "The concept started as a small student project and turned into a video game, and now it's this incredible television show. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this journey." Considering the up-and-coming, highly anticipated season 2, Drunkman explained the pressures of exceeding fan expectations and trying not to psych himself out too much during the current production. "There was a lot of self-imposed pressure because The Last of Us means so much to me, and the rest of the developers, Naughty Dog, that made the game and went into making sure we got this show right. And I feel like we did," he said. We loved what we made. We're very proud of it. Fans have responded very positively to it. So for us, now, it's important to replicate the process. how Craig and I work and how we're going to put the show together. There's some learning and things I feel we can make even better going into season 2, but the pressure is usually self-imposed more from the outside. So I just want to make sure we end up with the same thing that, again, we're proud of and does justice to the game that came before it. Season opened up about the duo's approach in season 2, boasting that though the pair might stray a bit from the original source material, their overall method would remain the same. From a process point of view, Neil and I are pretty much in agreement. We're not changing a damn thing, he said. I mean, our process worked. We worked really well together. We adapted what we wanted to adapt, how we wanted to adapt. We stayed close to the source material. Sometimes we drifted away from the material, but that's the process. But the process worked great. So we're not changing that process at all. We're going to continue to push ourselves in all sorts of ways. The showrunner also emphasized the process of the grueling physicality expected from the season's leads and other reoccurring actors. It's our actors who are going to have to push themselves even more as they age up. As time has passed, what does that mean to them physically in their bodies, he said. And how do they move? And how do they fight? And what happens as the world gets more and more physical and dangerous? Nevertheless, under the pressure of trying to build another harrowing season of television, Mazan mentioned that the team was committed to pushing the boundaries. We're certainly also going to push the technology that we use forward. We learned so much, particularly in regards to the infected and how to better deliver scenes with them. So we're just going to keep moving the bar up and up and up. That's the kind of call of arms we have. Okay, let's talk about this. I can't wait. These guys have absolutely hit a home run with this series. Look, it's not short to say that this is the first television video game adaptation to be turned into a streaming / television series to knock it out of the park. Hands down. That being said, anybody who's played the second game, as I have, and millions of other people have, know what happens. I can't wait. It's one of those things where we're going to be talking about this, and it's going to be interesting too because of the strike that we're going into, and today's its first day, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But man, oh man, this is going when we know that production is actually going to get started on this, and it's going to take about a year, and they're not going to rush this either. You know that because it's one of those things where they, as they said, they know what they did right, and they know what they want to try and improve on. Wow. All I can say is I can't wait. I think this is going to, once again, when you have a game, and I go back to this picture again, when you have a game that has this many accolades and this much love behind it, I can't wait to see this. If Bella Ramsey can pull it, and I have no doubt, I mean, she was amazing in the first season. Because everybody that's played the second game knows how physical it is. If she can pull this off, this will be one of the best performances she's ever put together. And will ever put together. Mark my words. 20 years from now, when we're talking about television and movies and streaming, they're going to go back, and video game adaptations in particular, they're going to go back to The Last of Us Part 2. You remember when Bella Ramsey really pulled off The Last of Us Part 2? That's what they're going to be talking about. I can't wait. I can't wait. So I whenever this hits and whenever they start production, I'm going to be really excited. We do know one thing, though, and that is they are going to start, when this whole thing does begin production, we know that they're going to begin production in Vancouver. So, anyways, guys, what do you think about the comments by NeilDruckman and Craig Mazan? Have you played The Last of Us Part 2? Did you watch The Last of Us? Who was your favorite character in that show or the game? Was it Joel? Was it Ellie? Was it anybody else? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.